Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in my video today I want to give you guys sort of a little update on my goldfish tank, and by update I kind of mean like the first time I'm ever really talking about it aside from when I first got them. I am so bad at doing like fish videos because I never really know what you guys want to see when it comes to fish, so I've really been slacking on the fish videos, but I want to make that change. So let's talk about my goldfish. So just a brief little overview of the tank. This here is a 36-gallon bow front. It does currently house 3 goldfish in it, which they will likely need an upgrade as they get bigger. You can see at this size now, this is obviously plenty of room for them, and I do have a lot of filtration on the back. We'll go over that in a bit, but this tank is definitely suitable for them at the time being. But since goldfish do grow quite large, they will probably need an upgrade at some point. But for the time being, they're living in this 36-gallon. It's a whole setup, so it has like the stand, obviously the tank, and it has the lid and the light and everything. I got a super good deal on this tank. I actually bought it about 1.5 years ago, and I did buy it brand new in the store. It just happened to be, you know, on a really good sale. I got the whole thing for $150, and that's $150 Canadian, which works out to be around like 115, I believe, US. I'll put the conversion on the screen. But it came with the stand, it came with the tank, it came with the light and everything. So I got a really good deal on this, I think, for a brand new tank. So I've had this tank for around 1.5 years now, a little bit under that, but it's around there. And this tank has really been doing very well. So this tank is nothing extravagant when it comes to like an aquascape or like plants or anything, and that's mainly just because of the fish in it. Goldfish are notoriously clumsy fish. A lot of the time, if you keep them in a tank with like rocks and driftwood and stuff, they can injure themselves on it. A lot of people don't even have any success keeping plants in their tank because they tend to rip them out of the ground, which I haven't actually had an issue with. I do kind of credit that to the fact that I have a very large plant. So in the middle here is actually a very large Amazon sword. It was actually way bigger than this just a couple days ago. I had to trim it down just last night because it gets huge. This plant has been in the tank since I originally set it up 1.5 years ago, and the plant was pretty big when I got it. It wasn't this big, but it was a fairly big sword already. So since it's a very big plant and the roots on this are very strong, they go all throughout the tank. I think that's why they don't really have any luck uprooting it, even if they tried. It's also weighted down with quite a bit of rock, so thankfully I don't really have any issues with them bothering the plants. These 2 smaller swords that you actually see on the sides grew off of this big one. So the Amazon swords, they kind of grow baby plants, which is what both of these are. And then so I planted them, you know, on either side. So obviously this one's fairly large, and then this one's quite small. This one has been growing for a little while now, and then this one is fairly new, and it kind of got eaten apart by one of these snails I have in here. I do have one apple snail in here. You can see him right up there. And he does kind of eat at the plants a little bit, which I don't actually mind too much because this plant does grow so fast, but you can kind of see his little bite marks in it, if you will. But like I said, since these plants are growing really well in my tank, it's not that big of an issue for him to eat at them, so I don't really mind. So as for the fish in this tank, I do have 3 goldfish. There are 2 Blackmore goldfish, which you can see here and here. And then I do have this one other little silver goldfish. I honestly don't really have any idea of what he is exactly. I got him just from one of my local fish stores, and he was not labeled as anything other than goldfish, but he's pretty silver in color, and then he does have a yellow head, kind of like a lemon head goldfish, but again, I don't entirely know what he was or what he is, so I can't be sure on that. But these 3 all get along very well. There's never any issues with any of them bullying each other. Not really a big issue with goldfish anyways, but you know, it can always happen, so thankfully they get along very well. They are all able to eat. None of them like takes all the food or anything. This guy here is the biggest. So hard to get it to focus on them with how much they move, but he is the biggest here. I wish I could show you like a good size comparison. It's hard to on camera They're actually fairly large. I don't know why the camera doesn't really pick it up that well, but I would say he's probably around 5 inches long. This one here is a little smaller, probably around 3.5. They're growing quite large. When I got them, they were very, very tiny. They were like the size of his eyeballs. Not actually, but they were very small when I first got them. Some of you guys may remember because I do have a video on my channel when I first got them. But these guys are doing really well. I have had quite a bit of success with this tank. Again, I know it's not like the most visually appealing thing to look at, but that's just kind of the reality of goldfish tanks. They're not, you know, you can't really do a ton with Escape. Some people might have success with it. Personally, I think this is the most I would do. Large plants that they can't uproot, and then like no big stones or wood that they could hurt themselves on or anything, because obviously keeping the fish safe is my top priority over having a tank that I think looks nice. And I mean, even then, I don't think this tank is ugly by any means. It's just not anything that impressive. Now, for the light on this tank, this is actually just the light that this tank came with. It's like nothing fancy. You can see it's just an LED strip light. Again, this is just the one that I said came with the tank. Since I don't have a ton of plants or anything in here, it works just fine. Amazon swords are fairly easy plants to grow in my opinion, so the stock lighting that came with this aquarium does its job perfectly. So let's go ahead and talk about the filtration on this tank, because when it comes to goldfish, filtration is super important. Goldfish can be extremely messy fish. They produce a lot of waste, so it's really important that you have good filtration when keeping them. So I do run 2 filters on these tanks. They're both just hang-on back filters. They are Aquaclears. Aquaclears are one of my favorite hang-on back filters. I think they just work really well. I like how they have adjustable flow, so you can have it low flow, high flow, whatever you need. I just really like Aquaclears for hang-on backs personally. So over here I do have the larger filter. I have one Aquaclear 70, so this is rated for up to 70 gallons. And then over here I have the Aquaclear 30. So together I have the 30 and the 70, so I have around 100 gallons of filtration total on this 36-gallon tank. So it is over double, which is what I would recommend for goldfish. I would say regardless of what tank size you have, when it comes to filtration with them, you should always go for at least double the tank size, if not triple. So if you have like a 50-gallon, I would recommend getting at least 100 gallons, even like up to 150 gallons of filtration would do really well, because these guys are just super messy. Because they are very messy, it's important that you like clean out the filter media fairly regularly. You don't want to remove it, especially like the biological media, because your beneficial bacteria lives there, but it's important to take it out and rinse it in some tank water to get rid of all of the dirt and everything that builds up, because they can be disgusting little fish. Now you may notice on the back of the tank you can actually see some algae here. I don't know how noticeable it is, but you can see like little spots of algae. Basically, when it comes to this tank, I only clean the front panel of the glass. I like the front panel to be clear, obviously, so that I can see through it well, but I don't really mind when algae grows on the sides or on the back of the tank, because if you don't know a ton about aquariums, algae can actually be beneficial. Not only do the goldfish and my snail eat the algae occasionally, but algae actually helps to keep your nitrates low, so it can be beneficial in aquariums. So I don't really mind it growing on the back and the sides, and I also just don't really have much algae in general. Like, the back of this aquarium has not been cleaned in months and months and months. I don't add like anything to this tank to, like, you know, avoid algae or anything. I just don't really happen to have algae in this tanks. Honestly, all of my fish tanks, I tend to avoid algae pretty well naturally. I don't really know how I do it. Like, I have literally no trick to it. I just seem to have really good luck with not growing a ton of algae, so there's that. So I've been owning goldfish for about 1.5 years now, and I've absolutely loved them. I think that they're really fun fish to own. I think they're just super cute, and I just really like goldfish. I think they're an awesome fish to own, but it's important to note that they are a lot more work than a lot of people think they are. Many people think that goldfish are like easy beginner fish that you can just have in like a 5-gallon tank and you're fine, when that's not the case. These goldfish grow quite large. Like I said, this is a 36-gallon tank and they'll likely need even bigger than this when they're full grown. They're super messy, so you need really good filtration and you need to make sure you're keeping your water quality good. So that means like doing water changes, cleaning out your filter media, making sure nothing builds up on your substrate, or if you have a bare bottom tank, making sure the bottom stays clean. So there's just a lot more that goes into these guys than a lot of people think, but I do think that they make awesome pets if you are looking for a fish that gets larger and has some personality. I think that they're really amazing fish. When it comes to feeding my goldfish, I do feed them a variety of different foods. I think a variety with really any animal is key to having a healthy animal. So these are some of the foods I feed them. This one here is by New Life Spectrum. This is their goldfish pellet. And then over here I have the omega-1 goldfish pellet. And then over here I have the Nutrifin Bug Bite formula for goldfish. And on top of that, I do keep a variety of like different frozen foods for my aquariums. So one frozen food that goldfish tend to like, I almost just dropped this, is bloodworms. So I do keep these as well and I feed these to them. So they have a nice variety in their diet and I would like to add even more. I've been interested in getting some gel foods for them, such as like the Rapashi, I don't know, goldfish gel food, whatever that is. But like I mentioned, I think a variety is important when it comes to keeping your animals healthy. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little update on my goldfish tank. I do want to make it a priority to make some more fish videos in the future because I definitely slack on those, but definitely want to work on that a bit more. So if you guys have any fish related video ideas that you want to see from me, feel free to leave them in the comments below because I want to make sure I'm making videos that you guys enjoy. So feel free to leave me suggestions. I would appreciate that a ton. But all of that said, thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and also be sure to subscribe to my channel. Also check out all of my social media. It is all just EmmaSam99. You can find it in the description below. Once again, thank you guys for watching and I will see you all next time.